What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Toon Talks. Today we're diving into one of the most visually stunning and emotionally gripping shows out there, Arcane. But hey, before we dive in, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and leave a comment below. I will be very glad, and will continue to do this weird, unusual recaps. Welcome to the playground. The episode kicks off in the gritty, downtrodden undercity of Zaun, where we meet young sisters Vi and Powder. They've already been through a lot, having witnessed the brutal death of their parents during a conflict between Zaun and the shiny, prosperous city above, Piltover. We don't get the full story yet, but it's clear that the tension between the two cities is long-standing. The girls are taken in by Vander, a father figure and leader in Zaun who's committed to protecting his people from further violence. Years later, Vi has grown into a strong-willed teen, determined to rise above the struggles of the Undercity. Together with her friends Milo and Clagger and her little sister Powder, she plans a risky heist in Piltover. They target an inventor's apartment, hoping for a big score that could help their situation. Things go wrong fast, though, when Powder accidentally sets off a mysterious blue crystal, causing a massive explosion and alerting the Piltover enforcers. The group barely escapes, but the destruction leaves a huge mess that sets the tone for growing tension between Zaun and Piltover. Back in Zaun, tension grows between the group. Vi tries to hold things together and reassure Powder, who feels guilty for messing up, but their failure in the heist has consequences. Vander, aware of the destruction they caused, warns Vi to stay out of trouble. He knows that if Piltover decides to retaliate, it could spark a war between the cities. However, Vi's frustration with the way things are going in Zaun continues to build, setting up future conflict. This first episode does a great job of setting the stage for the growing tension between Piltover and Zaun, as well as introducing us to the deep bond between Vi and Powder, which becomes a major emotional driver in the story. Some mysteries are better left unsolved. The second episode shifts focus to Piltover, introducing Jayce, a young inventor working on a dangerous new experiment involving arcane magic. He believes that magic, if harnessed properly, could revolutionize the city. However, after the explosion caused by the heist in the first episode, Jayce's research is confiscated and he's put on trial by the Piltover Council. Jayce defends his work passionately but faces harsh criticism from the council, especially from Heimerdinger, the wise Yordle scientist who insists that magic is too volatile and unpredictable to be controlled. Meanwhile, back in Zaun, Silco, a new villain, emerges. We learn that Silco has a personal vendetta against Vander and is planning to disrupt the fragile peace between Zaun and Piltover. Silco's introduction sets up a darker turn for the series, as he starts experimenting with a dangerous substance called Shimmer, which gives people enhanced strength, but with horrible side effects. As tensions rise, Vi, still frustrated by their failure in Piltover, wrestles with how to move forward. Powder feels even more insecure after messing up the heist, and their relationship is starting to show cracks. Vi wants to keep her little sister safe, but is torn between loyalty to her friends and the growing desire to fight back against the injustice in their city. Vander, on the other hand, is trying to keep Vi from getting more involved in the rising conflict. The episode does a great job expanding on the political dynamics between Piltover and Zaun, setting up the technological and magical conflicts that will shape the rest of the season. Base violence necessary for change. In this episode, the tension between Piltover and Zaun explodes, literally. Silco sets his plans into motion by using Shimmer, the dangerous substance introduced earlier, to enhance his henchmen, turning them into unstoppable fighters. At the same time, Vi is preparing for a fight of her own. She decides to take matters into her own hands, feeling responsible for the trouble that Powder and their friends are in. Despite Vander's warnings to avoid violence, Vi steps up as a leader, ready to face the chaos head-on. Meanwhile, Vander is caught between keeping the peace and protecting the kids, but his past as a revolutionary is creeping back up. The moment of reckoning arrives when Silco kidnaps Vander. This sets the stage for a massive confrontation at the end of the episode. Vi and her friends attempt a rescue mission, storming Silco's hideout, but things quickly spiral out of control. Back in Piltover, Jayce is dealing with the fallout from his trial. He's been exiled from the academy, but with the help of his new friend Victor, another brilliant scientist, he decides not to give up on his dream of combining magic and technology. The two of them begin experimenting in secret, laying the foundation for future technological advancements that will shape the series. The final scenes of the episode are devastating. Powder, feeling isolated and desperate to prove herself, tries to help with the rescue mission by using one of her homemade bombs. However, her plan goes horribly wrong, causing an explosion that leads to tragic consequences. Clagger and Milo dies, Vander dies, and the group is shattered. This plot twist is impossible to predict, and it will remain a scar in the heart of everyone who watched this episode. In the aftermath, Vi is left heartbroken, pushing Powder away in a moment of grief. Silco then takes Powder under his wing, marking the beginning of her transformation into Jinx. Happy Progress Day! The series takes a bit of a time jump in this episode, and we find ourselves in a Piltover that has significantly advanced thanks to Jayce and Victor's technological breakthroughs. Piltover is celebrating Progress Day, a massive festival marking the city's innovations, and Jayce is now regarded as a hero and a symbol of this progress. He's basically a celebrity now, and his Hextech technology has opened up a lot of opportunities for the city. However, he's under a lot of pressure to reveal the next big thing at the Progress Day speech. Meanwhile, in the Undercity, Zaun is struggling. We get a glimpse of how Silco has taken control, and we see that things are worse for the people living there. The dynamic has shifted, and Silco's influence is everywhere. He's using Shimmer to keep control, and his henchmen are more powerful than ever. Vi's still missing, but we're reintroduced to Powder, now fully embracing her new persona as Jinx. She's no longer the innocent girl from the earlier episodes. Jinx is chaotic, unpredictable, and constantly seeking Silco's approval. We see her executing a dangerous heist on a cargo shipment that was supposed to deliver Hextech to Piltover, leaving behind her signature explosive chaos. It's clear that she's a force to be reckoned with. Back in Piltover, Caitlin starts to investigate this heist. Her skills as an enforcer come to light, and she begins to suspect that something darker is going on beneath the surface of the city. This is when her path begins to intertwine with Jinx, setting the stage for their eventual confrontation. The episode ends with Caitlin going to jail to interrogate one of the suspects in order to figure everything out. And by chance she meets Vi, who, as it turned out, has been in prison all this time. Oh, look at how pumped she is. Everybody wants to be my enemy. In this episode, tensions continue to rise between Piltover and Zaun. Jinx is wreaking havoc across the city, still trying to prove herself to Silco and reliving memories of her old life with Vi. You can really see the toll it's taking on her, as her mental state is growing more unstable. She's haunted by hallucinations of her old friends and her sister, which drives her to make increasingly reckless decisions. On the Piltover side, Jayce is now a council member, and he's starting to navigate the tricky political world of the elites. He's trying to keep Hextech out of the wrong hands, but it's proving difficult. The council is divided, and the tension between keeping progress safe versus allowing it to grow freely is a constant theme. Jayce finds himself under a lot of pressure to keep everything running smoothly, but it's clear things are starting to fall apart. Caitlin, meanwhile, continues her investigation into the attacks, and she's starting to piece things together. Her search takes her to the Undercity, where she eventually crosses paths with Vi, who's been locked up in prison this whole time. The two of them have a pretty rocky start, but they quickly realize they need each other to track down Jinx and figure out what's really going on. The episode builds the tension between these characters. Vi trying to find her sister, Caitlin determined to bring justice to the city, and Jinx caught in the middle, torn between her past and present. It's a wild ride that sets up a lot of the conflict to come. When these walls come tumbling down, Episode 6 is packed with key moments that really push the story forward. Right at the start, we see the brewing tension in Zaun as Silco tightens his grip on the city, and his relationship with Jinx grows more unstable. Jinx is struggling with her inner demons more than ever, especially the memories of her sister Vi. She's having visions and hallucinations of her past, and it's clear she's not handling things well. Vi and Caitlin, meanwhile, continue their journey through the Undercity, and they're getting closer to uncovering the truth about Silco's operations. Their dynamic really evolves here. Caitlin's still holding on to her sense of justice, but Zaun's harsh reality is starting to shake her. Vi, on the other hand, knows the streets all too well, and her frustration with how things have gotten worse is palpable. The real emotional punch of the episode comes when Vi and Jinx finally meet again. After years of separation, Vi spots her sister at the scene of a chaotic fight. It's a moment filled with tension and heartbreak, as Jinx is no longer the Powder that Vi once knew. She's now completely different, volatile and unpredictable. There's a brief moment of recognition between the two, but before anything more can happen, things fall apart. Suddenly, just as it seems Vi and Jinx might reconnect, Vi is ripped away, kidnapped by a mysterious figure. It's later revealed that this figure is Echo, Vi's old friend from the Undercity. The reunion with Echo adds another layer of complexity, as he's also been deeply affected by the events that have unfolded in Zaun. The episode ends on this emotional high, leaving us eager to see what will happen next between the sisters and how the conflict between Piltover and Zaun will escalate. Boy Savior. The Boy Savior Episode 7 is where things start coming full circle, and we get a closer look at Echo's journey. After Vi's sudden capture at the end of the last episode, we find out that she's been taken to a safe house by none other than Echo, her childhood friend. Echo has grown up since they last saw each other, and he's become a key player in Zaun's rebellion. It's a powerful reunion, especially when we see Echo's frustration with the chaos that has taken over their city and how he's been fighting to preserve what little good remains. Echo reveals to Caitlyn and Vi the Firelight's mission to take down Silco and how he's been working to protect Zaun from his control. It's a bittersweet moment as Vi realizes how much her old friend has been through and how different their lives have become. The Firelights, under Echo's leadership, are a symbol of hope in the crumbling city, but the challenges they face are enormous. Meanwhile, Jinx is spiraling even further. She's still grappling with the emotions stirred up by seeing Vi again, and her trust in Silco begins to waver. Jinx is caught between her past and her present, haunted by the memories of her family and the reality of who she's become. Her mental state is deteriorating, leading to a series of dangerous decisions. The episode builds up to a climactic confrontation when Vi and Caitlyn, with Echo's help, manage to secure the gemstone. They plan to take it to Piltover, hoping it could be the key to stopping Silco's plans. But, of course, nothing goes smoothly in Zaun. As they make their escape, they're ambushed by Jinx, leading to one of the most visually stunning and emotional moments of the series. Echo and Jinx face off in a heart-wrenching battle. The two childhood friends, now on opposite sides, clash in a fight that is as much about their shared past as it is about the war raging around them. The episode ends with a devastating twist. Just as it seems Echo might win the fight, Jinx pulls a trick, and the two of them are caught in an explosion. The fate of both characters hangs in the balance as the screen fades to black, leaving us with a nerve-wracking cliffhanger. Oil and water. In Episode 8, things get even more intense as tensions between Piltover and Zaun hit their boiling point. The episode opens with us seeing the contrasting leadership styles of Silco and the Council. On one side, Silco tightens his grip on Zaun, consolidating his power while still being haunted by his complicated relationship with Jinx. On the other side, we have Jayce, who is now heavily involved in Piltover's politics and starting to realize that being a leader isn't as clean-cut as he once thought. The line between good and bad starts to blur. Jayce and Vi cross paths again, but this time they're forced to confront the reality that they need each other if they want to stop Silco. Vi is still focused on saving her sister Jinx, while Jayce is more concerned with the larger conflict threatening Piltover. Their uneasy alliance gives us some great tension, as they both struggle to balance their personal goals with the greater good. Meanwhile, Jinx's mental state continues to unravel. After the explosive battle in the last episode, she's injured and paranoid, and her internal conflict between Powder and Jinx is getting harder for her to control. The action ramps up when Jayce and Vi launch a daring attack on one of Silco's shimmer factories. It's an intense fight, with Vi showing off just how much of a badass she is, wielding her gauntlets and taking down enemies left and right. But the real standout moment comes when Jayce, in the heat of battle, accidentally kills a child. This moment shakes him to his core, forcing him to question everything he's been fighting for and whether the ends really justify the means. The episode leaves us on the edge of our seats, with the realization that no matter how hard the characters try, they can't escape the consequences of their choices. The tension between Piltover and Zaun is at its highest, and the stakes have never been more personal for the characters we've been following. The monster you created. The final episode of Arcane Season 1 is an emotional roller coaster, packed with action, heartbreak, and major turning points for all the characters. It kicks off with Jayce being overwhelmed by guilt after the child's death in the previous episode. He's shaken, realizing that this war against Silco and Zaun isn't as black and white as he once thought. In a pivotal moment, Jayce decides to negotiate with Silco for peace, offering autonomy for Zaun in exchange for an end to the violence. Meanwhile, Vi is furious with Jayce for even considering a deal with Silco, as she's laser-focused on stopping him and saving Jinx. Vi's mission to get her sister back is what drives her, but the gap between them has never been wider. Jinx's transformation is complete, and the powder that Vi remembers is long gone, replaced by a more unstable and dangerous version of herself. Jinx, still reeling from the chaos in her head, captures both Vi and Silco, bringing them to a dinner table scene that's as chilling as it is tragic. It's here that Jinx fully embodies the conflict between her past and her present. She sets a plate for Powder, symbolizing the version of herself she left behind, and gives Vi an impossible choice: accept Jinx as she is now or lose her forever. In the most gut-wrenching moment of the episode, Jinx accidentally kills Silco when he tries to reassure her. It's a shocking scene, as Silco, despite all his manipulation and villainy, reveals he truly cared for Jinx. With his dying breath, he tells her she was perfect just the way she is, leaving Jinx completely shattered. Silco's death marks the end of one chapter in Zaun's history, but Jinx's story is far from over. The episode culminates in a devastating cliffhanger. Jinx, now fully embracing her identity, fires a powerful Hextech rocket at the Piltover Council, just as they vote to grant Zaun its independence. The last image we see is the rocket barreling toward the council chamber, leaving the fate of Piltover and Zaun in the balance, and setting the stage for what promises to be an explosive Season 2. And that's it. Arcane Season 1 takes us on an intense, emotional journey filled with epic battles, heart-wrenching decisions, and unforgettable moments. We've seen the rise of heroes and the fall of relationships, all while tensions between Piltover and Zaun keep building. But even though this season has wrapped, the story is far from over. Jinx's final act leaves us on the edge of our seats, and I can't wait to see what happens next. Thanks for sticking with me through this recap. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for more recaps. See you next time!